2 of AEW Dynamite Fighter Fest was main evented by a brutal barbed wire death match between Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston. The main event had a lot going on, including a popular Dark Order member turning heel. This week's show also featured big return of Jungle Boy and a whole lot more on the card. Big episode of Dynamite, follow up from the first Fighter Fest last week. So let's get straight into it with a grudge match. Darby Allin versus Brody King. Allin charged at King and hit him with a shotgun dropkick, sending him crashing out the ring early on. Allin then went for a top right to the ceiling, but King caught the former TNT champion and tossed Allin into the barricade. King then dominated the early part of the match and was in total control as we headed to the first break. King then hit Allin with a senton and continued to dominate the former TNT champion, sending him crashing out of the ring with a chop. King then followed Darby out to the ringside. Darby briefly took control of the match, but before he headed back into the ring, the former TNT champion went for a splash in the corner, but King dodged it and hit back with a strike before missing a cannonball in the corner. Allin then fought back with a cobra for a 2 count before King knocked in the rear naked choke on the apron and let Darby drop to the floor. But of course this wasn't a battle royal. Allin managed to beat the 10 count and hit the Galanzo bomb as soon as he entered the ring, and that was enough to pat Allin away. Brody King knocked in a chokehold on Darby after the match. Sting came out to save Darby. This led to Malachi Black appearing out of nowhere and staring down Sting inside the ring. King then locked in a rear naked choke from behind as Black hit the Icon with the mist. Miro music hit as he came out as the segment ended. This was really good. Brody King really is getting the push of a lifetime at the moment, and that's brilliant to see. And then all the corresponding angles in between it. What will Miro do? Darby and Sting against the House of Black. Yeah, all good stuff around this. Really, really good, fun start to the Dynamite this. The Best Friends then took on John Moxley and Rita Yuta. Moxley and Trent started things off. The world champ with a belly-to-belly takedown. He then took control of the match for his team and tagged Yuta in. Chuck Taylor also tagged in. Wheeler and Taylor briefly went back and forth until Yuta hit a nasty shot. Trent had both in and charged at Yuta before taking him down. Both traded stories with Trent coming out on top and having to be restrained by his own partner. Yuta then took Chucky T down with an elbow side before Trent knocked him down again, forcing the ROH Poor champion to roll out of the ring. Chuck Taylor then laid into Yuta ringside until Moxley chased him away. Best Friends then isolated Yuta and continued to dominate during the outbreak. Moxley finally tagged in and cleared house. He tossed Chucky T into the announcer's desk before hitting Trent with a cutter in the middle of the ring. He then stomped him in mudhole into Trent and tagged on with Yuta. Chucky T got back in the ring and planted Moxley in the corner. Yuta was then hit with a double tower driver but somehow kicked out. Yuta pushed Trent over onto Chucky T, knocking the latter off the apron. Trent then hit Yuta with the strong zero, but Moxley broke up the ensuing cover. Chuck Taylor then tagged back in and Yuta tried to put him to sleep before Taylor suplexed Yuta, who then rolled Chuck Taylor up into the victory. That completed a really, really great match. It was really great because even though you knew the result, there was some bits there you could bite that worked really well. Of course, just the 4 wrestlers on the show were absolutely bloody great as well. 7 out of 10. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland ran next for a championship celebration with rapper Kevin Gates in the front row. Mark Sterling and Tony Nese interrupted, trying to get Gates to sign the petition. Gates ended up striking Nese in the face before Swerve tossed the celebration cake into Sterling's face. Just a little bit of fun, I suppose. Before we got into more serious matters, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus versus Varsity Blondes. Luchasaurus started things off for his team and basically destroyed Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison single-handedly. He chokeslammed Pillman before chokeslamming Garrison into Pillman. Christian then tagged in and got the for the W. Jungle Boy's music hit afterwards. He came out with a steel chair, making his return, and Christian sent Luchasaurus to stop him, but he stepped aside. Jungle Boy then chased Christian out of the arena, Jungle Boy is back with Luchasaurus. Didn't see them going in this direction so quickly, so maybe it's rude, maybe it's not, but probably I would lean towards it isn't. After a short day off, great to see Jungle Boy back, and I can't wait to see this storyline really, really progress now. It's just elevated this whole segment. 7 out of 10. It was time for Ricky Starks versus Cole Carter for the FTW Championship. Former WWE star 2 Dimes made his Dynamite debut as Cole Carter, answering the FTW Championship Open Challenge, but the FTW champ made a terrific start, striking Carter early in the corner before hitting a splash in the corner. Carter then hit back with a dropkick before connecting with a boot to the jaw. The former WWE star then knocked Starks off the apron and we cut to a commercial break. Starks continued to dominate with strikes in the commercial break before walking to the top rope and drove his elbow into Carter's head. Back from the commercial, Carter caught Starks with a rising knee strike. Carter went for a 450 splash but missed. Starks took advantage and hit Carter down with a spear to pick up the W. And Ricky Starks issued an open challenge after the match. Danhausen answered, but Starks pushed the match back to next week. And I kind of feel like it's a long way round against that. But it wasn't bad at all. 2 Dines, as I'm going to call him, got some offense in, maybe working towards a permanent AEW contract, which I wouldn't be against. And yeah, on the whole, the match wasn't bad, and obviously creates an intriguing angle next week for Ricky Starks versus Danhausen. Obviously, we know how great those two professional wrestlers are, really. And yeah, so you can pretty much guarantee that is going to be an absolute banger. Before Dash Wilder addressed the match against the Briscoes next week, as FTR came out and said they wouldn't take their titles from them and would have to pry it from their cold dead hands. Dax Harwood then revealed his touch story about his 8-year-old daughter who had to come overcome a hole in her heart. Harwood promised to fight as hard as his daughter at the pay-per-view and promised to bring the titles back home. And yeah, this was just a brilliant promo. I'm rooting for you even more now, FTR. Yeah, brilliant promo. Before it was time for Jade Cargill and Kira Hogan versus Athena and Willow Nightingale. The baddies came out with hip-hop legend Jermaine Dupri. Stokely Hathaway also announced that Chris Statlander was banned from ringside. Kira Hogan and Athena started things off for their respective teams. Athena took Hogan down with her right hand before Willow tagged in, but was taken down by Hogan. Hogan then missed a dropkick and Willow tagged out before body slamming Athena onto the former Impact star. Hogan then rolled out to the ringside and Willow took down both the baddies with a senton. Athena followed out with a crossbody from the top rope out to ringside. Back in the ring, Hogan hit a running boot in the corner but only got a 2 count. Willow then tagged in but was all over Hogan, hitting her with a spine buster. Jade then came in and broke up the cover before tossing Willow out of the ring. Athena and Jade now faced off inside the ring. Jade with a beat to the head, but Athena then hit back with a meteor. Athena then powerbombed Hogan onto the apron as Athena was distracted by Stokely Hathaway. Jade booted her into steel sets before Jade tagged in and was almost rolled up by Willow, but then Jade hit Jada to pick up the victory. And yeah, I mean, like another really decent match in TBS women's title scene. The division is still going strong at the moment. Gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Solid enough, kind of in its usual Dynamite time slot, but not bad at all, really. It was then main event time. Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston in an exploding barbed wire death match. Kingston grabbed the mic covered in barbed wire from Justin Roberts and immediately charged Jericho. The Painmaker was busted open almost immediately. Jericho hit back with a ring bell and tried to drive Kingston into a table covered in barbed wire, but the latter reversed it. Back in the ring, Eddie continued to drive his right hand into Jericho before tossing him into a bunch of barbed wires tied to the ropes. Kingston then grabbed a steel chair covered in barbed wire and drove it across Jericho's back. The Painmaker then hit back with a Hurricane Rana from the top rope, followed by a backdrop into the table covered in barbed wire. Both men were covered in blood by now. Kingston hit Jericho with a suplex through a table covered in barbed wire from the apron to the floor. Tay Conti ran out and assaulted Ruby Soho, who had the keys to the shark cage. Tay's former friend Anna Jay came out to stop her, but it ended up taking out Soho as well and sending her face first into the ring post. Jay then brought down the shark cage. Tay Conti opened the door. The Jazz hit the ring and assaulted Eddie Kingston. The BCC and Ortiz ran out to even the odds. Kingston then hit Jericho with an exploded suplex and threw a barbed wire table, but Jericho managed to kick out. Jericho then went for a lion salt, but Eddie tosses the barbed wire chair at him. Eddie then wrapped some wire around Jericho and put him in a stretch. Sonny Guevara came out to even the odds and proved to be a difference maker. Jericho hit Kingston with a Judas effect with barbed wire around the arm, and it was enough to put Eddie away. Jericho and Guevara tried to inflict further punishment on Eddie after the match on Dynamite, but he turned the tables. After taking Sammy out, Eddie tossed Jericho off the apron into a structure of barbed wire. And yeah, on the whole, this gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Yeah, brilliant match. Love the use of the barbed wire, of course. Worked really well with these two. There's all the chaos at ringside was hard to keep up with, but I think it was all pretty informed, to be honest. Would have liked to seen it maybe a bit more between the two of them, but all of the stuff that went on was informed, I do have to say, and yeah, definitely benefits the match. Shame not to see Jericho get the win, but Kingston standing tall, and yeah, it's going to make the moment even bigger for Kingston when it finally does come, you feel, because yeah, I don't think this will be the end of the feud. overall, Dynamite this week gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Yeah, I mean, like, throughout the card, I don't think it would have been like an 8 out of 10 solidly, but I think it was just consistently a really, really good show. Yeah, no real major downer on there. Yeah, like I said, just consistency, really, really, really solid show. Lots going on, all benefits the story, and yeah, just a brilliant all-round episode of Dynamite. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for joining. So like, share, subscribe, and what's going down to everyone. So this is for daily wrestling news and subscribe to the channel, and that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.